Hello, this is Staff TV. My name is Cyril Aloysius, and you're welcome to join us on this exclusive interview where we are going to be talking about some salient points concerning Nigerian politics. And of course, joining me in the show as my interviewee is someone very, very energetic, someone charismatic, someone very knowledgeable, someone who knows a thing or two about politics. And by that person, I am talking about Mr. Ejike Ogwuegbu. Mr. Ejike Ogwuegbu, you're welcome to the show.
How are you today?
Yes, I'm fine. Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you.
Before we go straight to the matter of the day, we are going to be going on a short break for now. And when we return, we will take you straight to the crux of contention. Stay with us. Okay, you're welcome back from that short break. Mr. Ejike, we are aware that you're a very busy man, so we're not going to be wasting so much of your time. We just want you to talk on some points. And the 2023 elections are fast approaching, and there are various names on the lips of many Nigerians at the moment as regards who they think and believe should be president come 2023. Of course, everybody has their own opinion on who they think. So we would like to know, sir, who do you think should be president come 2023? Who is your pick? Who do you think qualifies for that seat?
Thank you very much. In my opinion, first of all, I have to thank you guys for inviting me over the show.
You're welcome.
It will be to the best of my interest to say, in my opinion, that we do not have to beckon on the names out there when we talk about who is going to lead Nigeria.
Okay.
We should focus more on the capacity, the capability, the track record on the people who are, contesting, and the track record of people who intend to lead Nigeria.
Okay.
For me, I feel what Nigeria needs at the moment is to focus on the challenging problems we have, which insecurity is one of them.
Okay.
Which unemployment is one of them.
Okay.
Which people clamoring to secede from the nation is one of them. And some of all these things, what is triggering it is the system of government we are running. And some of all these things, what is triggering it is also the kind of political system we are practicing here. Some people in the north think as long as someone is coming from the north, regardless of how unintelligent or how
he is,
some people think because he's coming from the north, he's the right
president.
candidate. And some people think because someone is coming from this east, the people in the east say, oh, okay, one, because he's a Christian, he's of the Igbo clan, he should be president. I feel what Nigeria needs at the moment is not a tribal president. What Nigeria needs right now is a president who will bring them out of where we are. Because where we are and where we might be heading to, if nothing good happened, is not a good one.
Okay, so thank you so much for that. So if I actually understood what you were trying to say, in essence, is that you're saying that Nigerians should put aside sentiments,
yes, please,
when selecting our president.
That's correct.
So I want to ask: Is it really possible? Is it really possible to actually put aside sentiment? Do you think it is possible, especially in this part of the world, to say, okay, we don't care where you're from, let's just, do you think that is achievable in Nigeria as it stands?
Okay, I will say it this way. In as much as I understand Nigeria, we are quite sentimental. Nigeria, we are tribalistic.
Yes.
Nigeria, we are religious. I'm not going to rule out the possibility of all those factors playing a role in a selection of a leader. But I feel with what is going on in the country, if you remember what happened 2020, when the youth hit the street to say enough is enough. If they can hold on to such march and say, regardless of who it is, we want a leader who can represent this country, a leader who can actually lead this country. Let's come to some pattern statistics. The Nigerian youth make up about 56 to 58% of the population. And if these youths in question are able to grab their PVCs and come out and support a young candidate, a young vibrant candidate whom they think can lead Nigeria to the promised land, I don't see why they should not. I don't see why sentiment should play a role greater than our current situation, greater than our current position. Our position is not really something anybody should be proud of, and this is the same factor that has triggered where we are today. I think it is high time people keep aside the sentiment of tribe, the sentiment of religion, and focus on the people who are going to give us good leadership and what we deserve.
All right. Thank you so much for your contribution on that particular point. And another thing, sir, over the years, different regimes have come, regimes of governments have come and have gone. And there are two particular factors that have, should I say, fought against this, the successes of these particular regimes. And by that, and by those factors, I'm talking about the factor of insecurity and poverty. These are two things that almost every government has tried so hard to curtail, to curb. So I want you to tell us, after the 2023 elections, and whoever gets to be on that seat, what quality or what do you think the person leading us then should do? What are the things you think they should do, or what qualities do you think they should have in order to curb these two menacing factors?
Oh, thank you very much for that question. In my opinion, I will say this to you and to the viewers out there. It is quite important for us to understand the genesis of insecurity, the genesis of unemployment. We should understand this. And I feel that because the ruling class has taken advantage of these two aspects, and it has been to their interest, and they do not care on how to solve those problems. First of all, I want to start with unemployment. And when you talk about unemployment, we talk about when you talk about poverty, you start talking about unemployment.
Sure.
And unemployment is, for me, has become a pandemic in this country, because not just that the people who attend classes in the university would come out of university, they do not have a job to do. But I feel when it comes to that aspect, I also blame the youth, I also blame the so-called educated and the so-called elite. We run a system of government where people are supposed to go to school, come out, go and work in one ministry or one corporate entity. We change from the forefathers' ideas. Technical school. I remember back in the days in primary school when we used to be taken for a couple of mock practices on technical, learning how to do furniture, learning how to sew, learning
More
how
like
to
acquiring
skills and all that. So people go to university today to acquire a certificate rather than acquire knowledge. And when they come out, they are not able to do anything for themselves. They are waiting for someone to employ them. You go to school to learn, to come out to be an employer, not to be an employee. So when you come out from school, you're supposed to be able to have one or two things you can give back to the society.
Yes.
You're supposed to. I see a country where, in as much as things are tough, 3, 4, 5 graduates could come together and bring up ideas in their head and say, hey, listen, this is what we think we can do. We can start on a small scale. We can do this. We can put this together on partnership basis. We can employ others. But we have a problem. We are in a situation whereby people go to school and they come out. They depend on the people who they should be better than to feed them. The people who they should be better than to give them job. a situation where they cannot create job for themselves, not to talk of creating job for the next person. We are in a country where people will finish going to school. I'm not trying to criticize a makeup artist. I'm not trying to criticize some of these menial jobs, but you see people go to university and pass through the 4 walls of university for 4 years, and they come out and they'll be riding keke na pepe as a source of livelihood. Why then going to school? You see people going to school after studying and having a degree in banking and finance, or having a degree in business management or economics. You see them, going to learn makeup from a person who didn't go to school, and that's coming out to be the source of their livelihood. So it's a shame. Why I'm saying this is the poverty is going to keep affecting us. Unemployment is going to keep going further, to a point that Nigeria might not handle it if we refuse to focus on qualitative education. Qualitative education. And if we do not reverse back to technical learning, because you go to Onitsha, you see a trader who will bring 2-3 boys from his village, bring them down, teach them how to trade. In 5, 6, 7 years, he settles them. They start doing their trade and they start doing well, doing business. They start making income. People do not cheat them in calculation. They rather cheat you because they know the calculation. They didn't go to school, but they rather cheat. You cannot cheat them in those trade. Then you also see people who go learn how to build a house. When they go to, I'm a contractor, I'm into construction. You go see bricklayers who did not go to university, who did not even go to secondary school. They can build a house from scratch to the finish. They can build road because over time they have done, that has been a practice they have learned technically. Most of these engineers we have today cannot compete with them, because they have the technical knowledge of how to do those jobs, and they can actually do those jobs. So this is where I feel Nigeria should change our system, change our ways of tutoring in universities. Let the young people, students, go to school to acquire knowledge, not just to acquire certificates. So if we're able to manage this aspect, people will come out and become employers, not employees, right? So that's one area I feel we can fight. Not just poverty, we can equally fight insecurity. At the moment, there's a Nigerian vocabulary we call at the moment stomach infrastructure. Stomach infrastructure contributes to reasons why Nigeria insecurity is expounding.
So on the high rise.
On the high rise. If you go to North Central and some part of Niger State, some part of Kaduna State, you talk about banditry. You see that these bandits, guys, they are not as sophisticated as people think they are, but rather they have incorporated the granite sellers, incorporated the vulcanizers. These are the people who give them information. Why would they not give information? A granite seller who makes 2,000 naira the whole of the day would be given a token of 25 to 30,000 naira to give information.
That's a piece of information.
How is it? You cannot measure it. You cannot measure it. So poverty is going to create a a very big role in the insecurity of the nation.
Yes.
Because if somebody is looking for a source of a livelihood, a source of survival, and being offered something that even the government are not offering them by bandits, by hoodlums, they will keep being part of the hoodlums, giving them information, and they keep going further. So I want to say this: the fight against insecurity is not a fight to be left for only what do you call it, the police or the army. The security. No, it's not something to be left.
It's a general thing.
It's a general thing. The traditional rulers, the families, people should wake up to realize that, this thing has become something else, and it's against all of us. It is our nation we are killing. We are killing our businesses. We are killing our investors. Will not come into any state where they cannot find security.
Exactly.
So these are part of things that are affecting our economy. So I feel it's a collective effort for us to fight insecurity. So, and also our leaders in government, we understand that most of them have army troops and all the police battalion following them here and there. But they should also understand that someday they will finish either in the National Assembly or in the State Assembly or wherever they are in their political positions, and they will become like me and you, and then they should be able to understand that what the people are going through. A couple of other things I feel we should focus on is most of the highways, for instance, in the East, most of the highways here are bad. So these are become hot point and checkpoints for hoodlums,
criminals.
You know, and when the road is not movable for a car to keep up on the pace, it becomes easy for
the hoodlums
to actually attack the vehicles, and so these are part of the problems. And I still worry when I hear some of these hoodlums and bandit attacks on commuters, on travelers here and there, and I ask, with the level of the policemen on the road everywhere, you go from pole to pole, you see a bunch of policemen harassing innocent citizens, collecting 15 naira, 100 naira from bus drivers and commuters. You now ask, how do you monitor how do you control insecurity if the bus driver will only stop at your checkpoint and give you 100 naira and continue? Say if he's hauling or traveling with ammunition, how do you know? How do you know? How are you?
But if he's carrying a bomb or something.
So I feel it has become a fundamental problem in Nigeria, and not until everybody come out to stand and say it's enough is enough. We're gonna keep going deeper and deeper.
Wow, Mr. Ejike, thank you so much for that piece of enlightenment. I really learned a lot. Before we continue, we'll go on a short break, and when we return, more information for you, more educative and discussions for you. Stick with us. All right, thanks so much for sticking with us, and you're welcome back from that short commercial. Sir, there's something Tinubu currently said concerning the expiration of PVCs. I don't know if you've heard about it.
Yeah, I've heard about it.
Please, what's your take on that, please?
Yeah, first of all, I have to equally remind you that he has apologized on that. It was an error because PVC happens to be a permanent voter's card.
So it was an error?
Yes, okay. So, and I'm sure he has apologized. Yeah, on that note, I equally want to speak to Nigerians. Nigerian youth, looking through the whole of September, October 2020, it gave me courage to know that if Nigerian youths actually want to fight for anything, they can actually fight for it. And I want to say that the energy Nigerian youth has invested in Big Brother Nigeria and social media, if they put such energy in ensuring that we elect a leader who would hold accountable and who would channel the cause of this nation to a greater height, I think it's something doable. Like I mentioned earlier, the Nigerian youth has the highest percentage of the population. When I'm talking about Nigerian youth, I'm classifying between the age of 2020 statistics say between the age of 16 to the age of 64. And if the age of 16 to 24 as at 2020 happens to be 55 to 58%, then it means that in 2023, which happens to be the election year,
yes,
some of those age who are 15 would be eligible to vote for this 2023 election, because as of 2023, most of them will be 18 years and above. So you're looking at it statistically, you see that the youth has the majority of the population of Nigeria. And if the youth can put that in place and focus on, put their energy in 2023, I'm certain that we will select or choose a leader that can hold accountable. And secondly, I want to use this opportunity to plead on the youth, Nigerian youth, go and get your PVC. Go and get your PVC. put some of this energy you put in Big Brother Nigeria, some of the energy we use for memes and skits on social media, put it on Nigerian, the issue that affects Nigeria, because the issue that affects Nigeria affects you too. And on the moment where you do not do what you're supposed to do, the same people you're going to sit down in 2024 and 2025 to criticize are the same people who will take over the opportunity that you did not take. So I will solicit and plead with everybody to sensitize one another. One person talk to two persons, convince two persons to get your PVC. And getting your PVC is one thing, and the next thing is voting on election day. You go to different clubs, they are queued to enter the clubs, they are queued to participate in some of the unnecessary things, unnecessary social things. People queue up on those places to have access. But Nigerian youth do not want to queue up to vote or choose a leader. I think this is one of our fundamental problems, that everybody is thinking that without them, my vote doesn't matter, it will not count. Everybody's vote will count. If you say your vote would not count, another person say their vote would not count, another person is going to say their vote will not count. And when everybody keeps saying it, nobody is going to vote. And the same people you do not want is going to keep leading me and you. So all I'm going to say is, every Nigerian youth should sensitize one another towards getting a PVC, and also encourage one another towards voting in all the election, the presidential and the National Assembly election, and the gubernatorial and House of Assemblies elections. It is very, very important that 2023 Nigerian youth should take their destiny in their own hands.
Okay, thank you so much for that, Mr. Ejike. Mr. Ejike, you stressed so much on youths having their PVCs and coming out to vote. So I want to ask, is it enough? Is that enough to say, okay, we would have a better Nigeria if they come out? Because believe it or not, we are humans, and there is no, if I keep doing something over time and over time it looks like, okay, what I'm doing doesn't give me the desired result, at a point I get tired. That is the truth. I'm talking about this. I'm diving at the area of rigging of elections, because some people actually have intentions to vote, but then they get discouraged. They will say, "What's the point voting when at the end of the day, some people somewhere will just come up, rig everything, and give it to someone else?" So they begin to doubt this. They begin to doubt the authenticity of this PVC and voting thing. It's not like they are not interested in voting. That is the truth of the matter, personally.
Okay.
So what do you have to say concerning that?
Yeah, what I have to say from my little experience from voting and election, and I would want to say this, it is easier for people to rig election when a less number of people are voting. It is more difficult to rig election when people troop out in numbers to vote. Because the truth is, when people come out in mass to vote, they know the results are easier for everybody to know who win in each and every location and who wins and who lost in each and every location. But when you leave election for politicians, it's easily rigged. They can rig it anywhere. And let me ask you one question. Who do they use to rig elections? Who do they use to snatch ballot boxes? The same youth. It's the same youth that they used to snatch ballot boxes. It's the same youth they're still going to use. I have not seen
our own problem.
We are our own problem. I have not seen 70-something-year-old man who is intending
snatch a ballot box.
So who do they use to snatch a ballot box? The youth. So I feel this is a problem of the youth. I feel if you remember what happened during the NSACs in October 2020, you remember that the youth were equally used against the youth. The youth were equally used to corrupt the initial intention of that program. That program was, that match was for a genuine purpose.
Yes.
And the youth were equally the ones used to infiltrate the match and turn it into something else. So all I will still say is this whole ball, it's in our courts, the youth. Until we are ready, we'll keep dancing their music.
Yes.
We have to wake up and we have to decide on what we want. And what do we want? Do we want a better Nigeria?
Nigeria, yes.
Or do we want Nigeria of yesterday and Nigeria? The problem, the truth is, it keeps getting worse. And when people criticize a leader, I tend to laugh. It's not about one person. It's about the generality of the leader, of the leaders. That is what it's about. Because everybody is supposed to be held accountable in where they lead. The minister is supposed to be accounted for the ministry he's leading. The permanent secretary in that ministry is supposed to, as an accounting officer, should be held responsible. You should hold all these people responsible in where they are. If you select a bad leader, the bad leader will select people based on compensation, based on sentiment. He will not select leaders based on capacity, based on capability.
Okay.
So he will choose the people based on political line of compensations. And you will see where somebody who has never gone to a farm before, who does not know anything about agriculture, will be given a minister of agriculture.
Exactly.
You will see where a person who do not understand science or medicine will be given a minister of health, or minister of science.
Okay.
So you see where people who do not know anything about economics will be given a minister of commerce or ministry of commerce and industry. So this is where the problem lies. Nigeria should practice a merit system, regardless of your political party. Will this guy help lead the country to the destination? Yes, then he should be appointed. It should not be based on political sentiment, based on compensation method. As long as we keep running a compensation method, after election, all the investors, all the party stakeholders will choose the names of incompetent people who are members of the party and give them portfolios to manage the economy of the nation. We're going to keep dancing this same song, this same music. So it's not good to the ear. And this is why I keep lamenting the youth should take their destiny in their own hands by getting their PVC and participating in the election.
Okay. Thank you once again, Mr. Ejike. And a quick one just before we let you go, because like I said before, we are aware you're a very busy man. And yes, just a quick one, please.
Okay.
Fine. We've heard what you have to say concerning the PVCs. There is also this belief that Nigerians have about electing a person into office. Fine. When they are doing their campaigning, when they are having their campaigning, they give us all the flashy promises in the world. They look like God in human form, making us feel like, okay, they are there, they're genuine. And then when they get into office, they turn around and do something else most of the time. So is this an angle where we say we have to just sit and allow God to do his thing? Is this an angle where our hands are totally tied, where we can only pray and hope that God intervenes? Because you don't know the real intentions of a man, no matter how much you think you know a man. That is the truth of the matter. No matter how much you can vouch for a person, okay, this person, based on his qualifications, we trust and we believe he can fit into this place, and you finally put him there. You cannot really, vouch for the fact that, okay, this person will do exactly what he was sent there to do. So on that particular basis, what do you think? Do you say that we should just vote some persons into office and then pray to God that they deliver the reasons for which they were put in office?
Okay, thank you for your question. I believe in God, but I also believe that the affairs of man are affairs of man, and the affairs of the ghost and the spirit are affairs of the spirit. I don't want to be spiritual, and I don't want to go spiritual about this. What I want to say is this. One, you pray to God, yes, he will answer you. When you pray to God for a leader, he will make a leader available to you. But then, what you're supposed to do for that leader to be there, it's up to you to do it. What am I saying in essence? One, if you vote Mr. A as your governor,
yes,
and the majority of the people voted Mr. A as the governor, Mr. A is aware that he won that election because the people voted him to win as a governor. he will have it at the back of his mind that he is accountable. He is going to be, held accountable for this, whatever he has done in the state. He also knows that probably he has the next political ambition, that the same people who voted for him will equally ask him for his report card before they can answer him again. He will do a good job. But in a situation whereby people knows that they bought their position, they know that the people did not vote them into their position, they are not accountable to anybody. They do as they like. But it is high time the people choose their leader.
Okay.
If you come out, I come out, my brothers come out, my sisters come out, my parents come out, everybody come out and vote and choose a leader. Okay. That leader would be aware that even though that leader had a negative intention, he will not be going to godfathers to say, thank you for putting me here. He would rather be coming to the masses and say, he will run an inclusive government knowing that the people are the ones who voted him in.
Okay.
But in a situation where one or two godfathers come together and agree and install a governor or whoever he might be in a position, he will be accountable to the two godfathers. But when the people say, this is our candidate and this is who we have voted to be, he is accountable to the people. So I feel until we start, participating in election, we will start having candidates.
All right. Sorry, sir, a very quick one. Still on this issue.
Okay.
We've seen systems, especially in foreign countries, where a person is voted into office, and after a few years, they see that the purpose for which you were voted into office is not being carried out, it's not being executed. As a matter of fact, they see that you're now beginning to abuse the power for which you have. There is a mechanism that they have that they could actually use to vote you out the same way they voted you in to office.
Yes.
So, do you think this sort of system, this sort of mechanism should be, done here in Nigeria? Because to be very honest with you, I actually think such should be done here, because I feel like when they get into that office, because they are aware that after everything they could just, most of them, their children are not even in this country. That's the truth. Most of them, their families are not here. They base abroad. So they know that once they are done in office, they just move straight to overseas and they stay there without coming back. So where would you actually see them to hold them accountable? So don't you think the mechanism that they have over there to, hold these politicians accountable for whatever they do should be applied here in Nigeria?
The mechanism is because they know that the people have the final say. That's the simple mechanism. They know that the people have their final say. People are there to exercise their civil duties. People are going to vote on election day to speak their mind. People are going to show you how satisfied or how dissatisfied they are about your services you've rendered. Because the truth is, every politician is aspiring another position.
Okay.
So they understand that. So because they understand that this power belongs to the people and the people have the final say, they realize that they can be held accountable. And because of that, they do what the people want. But in a situation whereby they know that me and you focus more on social media and focus more on Big Brother Niger, there's nobody to account for. There's nobody. The only people they account for are the people who help them into those positions.
Okay.
Because the truth is, if we allow me to make this analysis, let's assume we have in the whole of Nigeria 5,000 politicians.
Okay.
Let's assume. Not up to 1% of them are the kind of people me and you would have wanted to vote into a political office as a leader. Now, what happens when the right people has refused to participate in politics? So what happened when me and you have refused to vote on election day? So they understand that while out of their 5,000, they now look at them, let's assume 5,000 out of the 5,000, you have one eye man. You have a deaf and dumb, or a deaf among, and you have a dumb among. If you are to choose, you're going to choose a leader from either the blind man, or the one eye man, or a deaf man, or a dumb man. You're going to choose among the number.
Because they are the ones that
So if you need 2,000, if you need 2,000 offices or 2,000 positions, you're going to choose among the 5,000.
Okay.
So let's assume you choose 1 or 2% of those good people. They cannot longer make an impact because they've already been overshadowed by the political number. So let us be realistic. The youth has left the politics of Nigeria for too long in the hands of these old people, in the hands of the same politicians.
They keep going about in circles,
recycling themselves from political party to another political party, from political position to another political position. It is high time the youth say enough is enough. And how do we say enough is enough? The only way we can say enough is by participating in an electoral system, participating in political system, participating in the election itself, by getting your PVC. On election day, go there and do what is right. If you feel what people has been doing before is wrong, go out on election day, do what is right. The ball is in our court. It is me and you's responsibility at the moment to say enough is enough. If we sit down in our houses and start watching Big Brother Nigeria, or start watching one program or playing on social media one way or the other, the same thing is going to keep happening. So it is up to us. It is up to us. It's up to the youth of this nation to say, no, it's too much.
Okay, enough is enough. That's according to Mr. Ejike Ogwuegbu. Mr. Ejike, thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate. That was very educative. I learned a lot from you today. Thank you so much. And to you, our viewers, thank you so much for sticking there, watching us. Without you, we would not be here. My name remains Cyril Aloysius, and this is where we call it a wrap for today's segment on political matters. Until we come your way again next time, it's au revoir.